8 ways to brainwash you to make money. The best way to brainwash yourself to make money is to figure out how you will make yourself poor. Author James Clear calls this inversion. Stoic philosophers called it premeditation of evils. This mental trick has been used by successful people all throughout history. Instead of thinking how to do something, you find the solution by thinking about how you'd guarantee failure. I use this to grow SkinnyWit, moving from $20,000 annually to $1.8 million in 3 years. I scaled Finova from $0 to $165,000 a month at peak, and I built this YouTube business that now has $5 million in revenue. There are 8 mistakes that destroy your chances at making money, each containing a hidden message that actually brainwashes you to be rich. See if you can spot them, or just stay around to the end where I'll reveal the whole thing. Number 1, never track your finances. To guarantee you fail, never keep track of what your money's doing. I'm from a tiny rural town with a population of just 2,000 people. Tiny, but strange enough, there's a billionaire that lives in my hometown. And a few years ago, I tried, unsuccessfully, to get him on the phone to chat about business. I had to try. He got my message and told his secretary to send me a speech that he recently gave. So I listened to that speech, and he described something crazy. He invented a process where he does a profit and loss report, but he does it daily for dozens of his businesses. This meant he could identify problems or opportunities immediately, where his competitors might need to wait until the end of the month or until the end of the quarter to get the same information. And while I did implement this in my own business, it was actually a terrible strategy for staying poor. If you want to stay poor, don't track your finances religiously. Definitely don't use free apps like Personal Capital to keep an eye on your expenses. Stay in the dark, avoid logging into your bank account, and I guarantee you'll continue losing money forever. Number 2, fall for the sunk cost fallacy. Here's a good trick, ruins people all the time, especially gamblers, but you probably do this too. The more money, time, or effort you put into something, the less likely you are to quit it, even if it's the worst thing for you. You couldn't invent a better way to lose money. It ignores all logic. It keeps you committed to a business, idea, or deal that actually isn't worth it to you. The only reason you stay committed is that you've put so much into it. Hence, the sunk cost. Instead of cutting your losses and running, you stay committed. It's incredibly efficient at losing money, and I highly, highly recommend it. I've done this multiple times unknowingly, and it's never worked out for me. Every single time I lose thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, and now you can too. Number 3, lie to yourself. Lying to yourself, it's one of the all-time great strategies for ruining your life, ruining your success, ruining your relationships. So you really want to make sure you're implementing this into your overall staying poor strategy. I knew a guy who was wonderful at this. In business meetings, he was your best friend. You know the type, like big, bright, great white shark smile, constantly telling you how he valued you and your relationship, wanted to be real friends, and wanted to be a partner rather than look at you like you're just another client of his. Super nice guy, until you actually did a deal with him. Then he would reveal his true self, the one that he wasn't actually aware of because he was lying to himself about who he was. He'd become insanely greedy, short-sighted, and just unpleasant to be around. But because he told himself he was this friendly guy who put all of his customers first, he couldn't see this. He was confused when he lost customers. Like, what's going on? I'm saying all the right things, but he wasn't doing what he was saying. But when it came to staying poor, this man was a genius. You should totally copy him. Tell yourself that you're good at business. Tell yourself you're ambitious, hardworking, a hustler who has nothing new to learn. Do that even if you're none of those things, because that way you'll never actually know what to improve. Number 4, get crappy, inconsistent sleep. Not getting enough sleep is one of the best things you can do to never make any money. Why? It actually makes your brain operate as if you have brain damage. I used this strategy for way longer than I care to admit when I was in my late teens and early 20s. I'd obsess over being one of those hustlers, like, Instagram Sigma male grind set type that only has to sleep a few hours a night, ignoring my body, ignoring all of science, and just being an idiot. The result? I made bad decisions, I lost motivation, I lost focus, I lost energy, my mood was all over the place. My lack of sleep was the greatest performance destroying drug on the planet. So if you want to suck at life and never make any money, don't get enough sleep. Number 5, have no clear idea what you want. Lack of direction is a wonderful way to stay poor. Think about it. If you don't really know what you want, I mean really know what you want at a granular level, how can you possibly get it? I fell into this hole personally. I was working so hard for years on end, but never really stopped to ask myself, why am I putting myself through all of this hardship? What's it all for? So when I finally reached some success, I didn't know what to do with it. I figured I'd just do what everyone else does, buy cool, expensive stuff like a Maserati, then I would be happy. Like, that's gotta be the answer. And don't get me wrong, expensive stuff, so much fun. Girls like it, but it didn't seem worth the years of hard work. Like, you get used to the fancy car in a month, and then it's just this car that you worry about more than a normal car. There had to be something else, some driving force that made me want to work so hard, and finally, I figured it out. I was reading a book that mentioned this process that Toyota developed to help solve problems. It's called 5 Whys. Here's how it works. You take an assumption and you ask yourself why 5 times. Super simple. This helps peel back the layers to get to the real truth, but it can be extremely painful. So picture this. I'm 21, I had 100 employees. I had no friends that I could relate to on this weird success problem, like what's it all for? And I was working myself to the bone for no clear reason. So I started with a simple assumption. I like progress. I knew that was true, but why? That's why number 1. I thought about it. Well, because it makes me feel accomplished, I guess. Okay, why? I determined I want to do what others think is impossible. And I thought that because no one else I knew was doing this kind of stuff. Okay, why? To prove to myself that I can do it. Why? This is where it gets tricky. Like, you're digging deep at this point. I took so much thought. Okay, to prove I can change my own environment. Why? Another why? Like, I thought I already answered this. So I thought, probably took me 2 hours to come up with the answer, the real truth. Because I believe anyone has the ability to shape the world around them. That simple realization freed me and gave me a reason for all of this hard work, for the years of hard work that I've done and the years to come. But look, if you want to make no money, avoid doing this. Don't ask yourself why. Don't figure out your purpose or your motivation. Just stay floating around aimlessly, wasting your potential. If you want to join a community of people that believe they can change the world for the better, you should check out our membership group, Finova. People there are unlocking potential they never thought was possible. Anywhere from starting a business to my portfolio insights like this, a 95% gain in just a few months. That could have been yours if you were a member. Number 6, never seek new information. These days you hear all kinds of stuff about the Matrix.
The Matrix has attacked.
It's a meme, but unfortunately there's some truth to it. Everyday education, from school to university, doesn't really teach you anything. And worse, growing up packs you with beliefs that don't show you how to get ahead. All this sucks for making money because 1, you don't know how to do it, and 2, you don't even believe you can do it. But if you want to fail at making money, bankruptcy! This is wonderful. This is the best thing ever. Question nothing, learn nothing, and keep those crappy limiting beliefs. Whatever you do, don't read, because that introduces you to new ideas and strategies that challenge those beliefs of yours. That'd be a massive mistake. You don't want to challenge any of those beliefs. What happens if you grow? What happens if you change for the better? Especially if you read books written by experts in their fields, people who know more than everyone else, or listen to people who've made a lot of money or had a lot of success in the thing that you want to have a lot of success in. No, don't do that. Stay brainwashed instead. Number 7, forget fundamentals, follow the crowd. You can guarantee awful results with this one. Instead of using tried and tested tactics with your money, follow the most recent thing the crowd is freaking out about instead. I ignored this get poor quick rule just a little while back. When the pandemic hit, stocks started tanking instantly, which opened a whole lot of buying opportunities, but I didn't know which one to choose. So I used a combination of financial metrics and first principles thinking. Doing this, I thought the consumer shoe market was hit disproportionately bad by the pandemic, and there was a few companies to invest in with healthy financials that I thought would shoot up in value pretty quickly. But which was the best? Which should I choose? I should have checked trends and followed emotions and, sold everything, but instead I went with Steve Madden shoes. Why? I asked myself which businesses could survive a downturn best. And my first principles answer was, well, those that are profitable, have low debt, and are really good at selling. My next question was, what metrics can I look at to confirm these principles? Profit and debt, those are easy, just look at the financials, but good at selling. How do you determine if a public company is good at selling? I decided to go with inventory turnover ratios, which tells you how quickly a company can produce and then sell its inventory. Steve Madden hit all of those criteria. So I dumped in some cash, and guess what? I made a massive return on investment, absolutely massive. Big mistake though for a staying poor strategy. I should have gone with the crowd and sold off all my holdings and freaked out like most of the market at the time. And this goes for good times too. Some hot company IPOs, a meme stock skyrockets, Elon tweets, and everyone starts buying and selling like crazy. Don't think, follow the hype, lose money. Number 8, when the going gets tough, quit. This is a big one. This is a really big one. If you want to never make money, and I mean never, do this. When things get hard, throw in the towel. Just straight up quit. Why is this perfect? Because in anything you do, especially to make money, you're going to go through an emotional cycle of change. You will. Number one, uninformed optimism. You don't know enough about what you're trying to do, so it all feels possible. It feels exciting. Number two, uninformed pessimism. You've encountered your first obstacle and you realize how difficult it is. So your optimism wanes, it turns into pessimism. This is why you start not wanting to show up, don't feel like it, and start feeling that urge to quit. 3, valley of despair. Your pessimism makes this task feel impossible. This is where most people's dreams die. 4, informed optimism. You've stuck at it long enough to know what works and what doesn't. This experience builds your confidence and builds your optimism. Finally, number 5, success and fulfillment. Your informed optimism drives your activity until you reach real, fundamental success. And the great thing about quitting when things get hard is you never reach stage 4 or 5. So you literally ensure you cannot succeed. As soon as pessimism sends you into the valley of despair, you quit, meaning you're guaranteed to be poor. There might not be a better strategy to stay poor. Then you just start something new, only to quit again when you hit stage 3. Repeat forever. Guaranteed, whatever the opposite of success is. Combine all those 8 items and you'll have the perfect strategy to never make money and never have any personal growth. Or you could just do the opposite of them.